Daru Joan, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for say yes for the invitation.
Thanks for having me.
How life is for you in the quarantine?
It's cool. I mean, we all in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, things are starting to open back up here in Tennessee, in some areas. So, I had a couple of jobs last week, and I had one yesterday. But other than that, I'm still staying indoors, trying to, you know, try to keep it light.
That's cool. You're in Tennessee, you're in Nashville, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Yeah, great city, great city. It's music city. It's amazing place. Well, I'm very happy you'll be here because I wanted we talk about like different kind of approaches because you've been doing like drum grooves and stuff, and you play very like soft. You can play loud, but I mean you have your own touch. And just I was talking with Alex just before you.
Mhm.
It's super important to have your own signature, and you have your own, and it's cool to have that. That make you you didn't try to follow the path of like 225 drummer. You did I will do that, and you did your stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's pretty good. I mean, you started at 4 years old, so that's pretty young. I started at three, so I am kind of in the same. Like I understand where you passed, but you did church music, and but after that, what did you do? You jumped to high school and college music. What did you do after that for growing as a musician?
Okay. Again, like you said, I started playing at 4. My mom and dad are both musicians. They both play organ and keyboard. So I started in church.
Okay,
Rest in peace, dad. Lost him. But yeah. So after that, I had some older mentors. You know what I'm saying, that were hit me to like jazz and the jazz drumming. It was kind of funny because I came up in a church where it was super strict. Everything outside of gospel was a no. It's called secular, and
yeah,
we were told not to listen to it. But anyway, I snuck because I'm a kid. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah. You're like
you know,
okay,
I had a lot of older mentors in my life, and one day, um, actually, let me take that back.
uh-huh.
So my mom, she wanted me to advance, and she wanted me to learn how to read music. So she put me in chart reading lessons
Okay,
and when I was in middle school. And I remember going to, to get lessons at this specific drum store. And every time I left, I saw, the modern drum magazines,
hmm.
which I've become fascinated. Then they had the VHS tapes. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Yeah.
oh
So I
yeah,
was just like,
oh yeah.
so actually, I saw this one that looked so cool because of the drums, and it was Terry Bozzio solo drums. First and my mom, she bought that for me, and that cracked my head because that was my first time, you know, finding out about other styles of drumming outside of gospel, which was based around pocket,
Yeah,
not a lot of chops. So after that, I had some older mentors that snuck too, and they were into jazz, and they hit me to the Buddy Rich Memorial Series concerts,
that's a
Volume
great
One through
theory.
Volume One, and actually when they one of them gave me Volume Two with Vinnie Colaiuta, Dave Weckl, and Steve Gadd, that blew my mind. So so as a teenager, I started getting into jazz, and I started playing all of that stuff. I started shedding, Tony Williams and everybody that was out at the time, Peter Erskine, and then for like probably for like 10 years, through my young teenage and almost adult years, I was into fusion and I played that music.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
at the same time, when I was in high school, I was influenced by hip hop. So I started learning about the producers, and I would learn about RZA, from Wu Tang Clan, and DJ Premier from Gangstar, Pete
Great,
Rock.
great band, man. Great band. And the
Yeah,
beat at those time, like the 808 and all those like sound, they were like they're still good.
still good. And then at the time in the 90s, it was cool because the hip hop producers, they were sampling like James Brown, which had Clyde Stubblefield. So I was like, oh, I can play that because that's a drummer, that's a drum vibe, you know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So then I want to say jump fast forward in like the mid 2000s, I become the hip hop drummer, outside of Amir Questlove. I started becoming the go-to guy because I made a reputation for myself, which I
Uh-huh.
worked really hard for, you know what I'm saying? And what's helped me advance people, they was like, yo, hire Daru because Daru is going to play your tracks like the album.
Uh-huh.
And that's the name that I made for myself, because a lot of times you get jobs, and sometimes drones, we get it twisted. We feel like people want to hire us to come and just do our own thing, but really,
Oh yeah.
depending on the music that you're playing, the music that I was playing, I just wanted to respect the original composers, and I learned the patterns just like the patterns. And then when I had a chance to deviate and add my swag, I did that. But I made a name for myself, and then people started calling me. I became like the guy for live hip hop drumming for over a decade, and then I graduated from there to rock and roll. Started working with Jack White and so on so on.
Nice. But when you were first called in Nashville or in New York, or where were you at that time?
So at that time I was living in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, yeah.
Pittsburgh, okay. Pennsylvania. I started working with Phil Solomon. He one of the top tunists, still paying tunists in the world, if that's a word. He's still drumming. I played with a Caribbean band, like in a company band, and we went out. And before that, I played in another still drum ensemble, but this was like a vocal point in my career because when I was in Pittsburgh, I really made some cool moves there, and got a chance to work with Slum Village. Through one of the guys. He was the MD. He was coming up from DC to Pittsburgh, and I got somebody recommended me, to be the drummer for him. This drummer flaked out the last minute, so I got the recommendation. I did it, and that was an opportunity to work with Slum Village, and yeah, it's amazing. Cool.
It's funny what you mentioned, VHS. I remember when I was in college, I was watching all the time Dennis Chambers and Peter Eskin.
Yes.
VHS. I destroyed them, and I was mentioning to another show when I back to my college, I do a master class in 2011, and I was in Drum Channel in 2011, and Don Lombardi asked me, Eric, pick whatever DVD you want, and I'm like, okay, I picked 2 or 3, but one was Peter Eskin, and I came back to my
timekeeping is everything,
and I gave it to my college and said, sorry guys, I destroyed your VHS. I'm giving you the DVD. So it was. I mean, it was the only way you can access to it at that time, and then for me it was different. For me, what it changed, Dennis changed a big part of my life. The linear patterns and all that, I really dig it. And or you were mentioning Wu-Tang. I was taking tape cassette Wu-Tang and playing their beat just to trying to have that feel, like. Just on it, and it's a good school. It's a super good school. Well,
yeah. Those were the golden years. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I came up during that time because I feel like yourself. I think we have an advantage because there was no YouTube and we had to transcribe everything by ear. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of just gave us another skill because it's like I told people like I remember when Chick Corea and Electric Band was out with Dave Weckl and. When John Patitucci, when they were doing their solo records, they used the same musicians, but they all played Yamaha. They had a similar kit. But how I would recognize the drummer because of the sound, the sound of the tuning. I was like, that's Vinny, because I knew how Vinny his sound was. I could hear it. I knew Gad had like a more of a dry sound, and Erskine, they all had their sound, and that's something that I want to eventually develop, later on in my career.
But that's good you mentioned that because it was one of my question. You have worked a lot on your own sound, and that's pretty remarkable, and it's nice. And how you became to put your drum the way it is right now. Of course, there's something about motion, but I mean, how you became. Of course, the first day you didn't put your snare and your thumb like this. You probably make a lot of tests. How it became that to have your own sound?
Okay, so basically that's a really good question. So how I got to where I'm at today, we all evolve as drummers, you know what I'm saying, every so many years. Some people, and I would say too, not to draft the question, everybody can't, I'm not saying everybody can't, but find the lane you want to be in. If you want to be the drummer, that be the guy to be the Billy Cobham and, whatever it is, if you want to be that drummer that have a bunch of chops and you build your career off of that, it's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But I knew the lane that I wanted to be in because of who I was influenced by, like Gad. He was a Matre genre bending drummer. You could put him in any situation and he would get the job done. He doesn't overplay. But to answer the question, to get my setup, my challenge was basically because I play traditional grip.
Yep.
So I was already doing a snare that way. I started doing a snare because that's definitely a tribute to the old school, like Gene Krupa marching band, like so I did snare drum, but then one day I woke up, I was like, man, what would happen if I do the floor tom? And working in the hip hop community, it's all about having an identity. You know what I'm saying? And I know at that time, Questlove was one of the first drummers I saw play hip hop in a live setting. There might have been other drummers, but for me, that was the first person that I saw. And I saw his kit. He just had a snare in the floor tom.
Yeah, I remember that actually. I remember that.
And I was like, yo, that's dope that he's able to do that. So I was like, all right, how can I do that? But I didn't want to just be a carbon copy of Amir. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, that's what the angling came in, so I can have my own identity. So my challenge coming from playing fusion and playing a full regular 5-piece kit, my challenge was trying to figure out how to do those fills in a smaller set, in with a couple pieces. But what it did was it challenged me, and it just made me change my vocabulary on what I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? So it made me be more creative and be more selective on what I do when I'm playing, because I play some fusion-y type of jazzy hip hop gigs where I'm bringing in some chops. I had a group that I work with, and we did hip hop and jazz, and I was able to break some of that, but it was still cool. I still had to change my vocabulary because of, instead of going like this, I was going like going down. But I changed my configuration because maybe like a few years ago, but when I started playing with Jack White in 2012, even before that, I just had the snare drum and floor tom regularly, and I had it.
Right, 24 you had, I guess,
for the bass drum.
How big? Yeah, how big? Because I saw your show, but
26. 26.
Okay, I thought it was 24. 26 is big, man.
So originally, I had the snare drum in front of me and the floor tom on the side angle, and then I added a marching drum because on some of the White Stripe songs, that's what dang, what's the guy, my man, that plays with the Raconteurs? Dang, that's my guy too. But anyway, there were some of those drum sounds, and Jack wanted the marching sound, so I had additional snare, and then a rack on the side, still tilted, and then I'm the type of person, once people start catching on, I like to change it up. So when I start seeing people kind of like copy, I was like, well, let me go switch it up. So that's when I changed the setup. Now I have the floor tom in front of me, going down. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different, different configuration, but I like to keep switching it up.
It's cool, and you're very lucky. Like I would put myself in the lucky too, because I'm with DW2 and you're with DW, and
my man.
Cool. I mean, they're very helpful. And I try your kit. They developed it for you, like the PDP, like the black, like orange sparkle fade you have. And a friend of mine just got it like a few months ago, and it's great.
Thank you.
The size are not too big, but they have tone. They tone. You know what I mean? It's not like some kind of drum only to be short stack. They have something, they talk. And this is what I like. The new PDP line is great, because before it was different, but they upgraded so much their kit now. And the quality is there, wood is there, and your kit is very cool. And I tried your Pice-T cymbal when I was in Pice-T, California the other day, and it's cool, man. They're very small. Do you like it? It's pretty interesting.
Thank you. Now I want to give big shout out to my man Eric. Y'all do your Googles. This cat got chops. This cat got it. Got his thing. Thank you for having me on your show. And so DW, they always for years been about high quality. I consider DW like the Rolls Royce of drums. I know there's a lot of other companies out there that's great, but as a kid, when I first got put onto DW, they've always made top quality. So although PDP is it's still DW, it's just another how can I say it? But it's the PDP is still a part of DW, and anything that they're gonna put their name behind is gonna be top quality. So I knew that by doing the collaboration, which I'm thankful to do with DW, that it wasn't, although it was smaller size, I knew that the sound wasn't going to be compromised. And that was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then another thing too, I wanted to do something that kind of had a fashion, swaggy, because I'm a fashion guy, and I wanted to have something that looks cool. Drummers, sometimes you like to stand out. But like you said, I'm thankful for trying it out, and I like that everything is small and compact. And it's versatile. You can try with different heads and get I saw Eric Moore use a kit with his heads and tune it down. It sounds like a you know what I'm saying, like a big boy. I'm like, dang.
He probably destroyed the kit.
He dismantled. Also, shout out to Pice-T too for the collaboration on the cymbals. You did the whole vibe. I had the opportunity to go to the factory, and I was like, yo, it'd be great, because I think I moved to Nashville, but I'm still going in between here and New York. I was like, it would be cool to have a cymbal set where you just put in your backpack. That's small. Because as you know, sometimes you go to jam sessions, people's cymbals are cracked up. You know what I'm saying? They beat, and it's like, no fear. Just go in your backpack, take these out, and you'll be back in the game. And then I also do like a lot of drum DJ gigs. So those cymbals work good for that setting. And yeah,
it's great. It's great. And just to finish the topic of gear, is so true what you mentioned. Now kits are so good in general, whatever brand. When you change drum skin, I'm trying to tell my drummer friend or my student sometimes, like, just change your drum head. Try it out. It's not because that kit is for jazz, for example, that kit for death metal. If you put like different heads, you're gonna get different tone. You're gonna put it up, and you can have various of people, and it depends on the player too. You can, like, whatever player, the drum will sound different. So you need to make try out and try different things. So and that's a good example. Your cymbal are small, on a small kit, different playing, different heads, it's gonna sounds different because you're a different person. You don't want to be the copycat of you. You are your own personality. So that's
good. I mean, not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Under the same tone, like I remember being a kid and being inspired by my heroes, and I'm going to. I think it's just different stages that we, as human beings, when you're a kid, you do things that kids do. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You pick up and you mimic. You know what I'm saying? But for me, that's the lane that I wanted to be in. So when I was younger, I set up my drum just like Peter Erskine. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind that when I see like a kid, and I repost those videos when I see kids out there or teenagers like setting up their kids like me. That's what it's for. I did the same thing. But when I got older in my career, I wanted to eventually get an identity because I wanted to be in a certain position where I can, like John Bonham, Vinny, and those, they stand out because they built their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be that drummer. And that's and to do that, you have to find something that, your niche. So, to each his own. To each his own.
It's a good cue because, like you said, if you're your own personality, you're gonna get higher for who you are. And it's super important. I remember a story, like quick. One friend, he hired Manu Katché to record.
Manu is so dope.
Yes, man, it sounds crazy. And the producer after the track says, like, can you do this that way? Can you do that way? I don't like this. And for about like 5-10 minutes complaining of the recording. And apparently said, like, well, you hire me. So if you don't want that song, hire that guy.
Exactly. You hit it right. You hit it right on the nose. And that's a whole nother topic. We need to do like a real business, because that's what it is. It's like, yo, when you're hiring us drummers. We have to know our role. Otherwise they can just use a click track or get the drum machine. You know what I'm saying? So if you're hiring me, because you want me to bring my flavor to the table. So let me, give me, it's cool. It's cool to give me like an idea, but don't totally cut my arms off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yep. Otherwise, just go hire the drummer that just wants to be that. That's not for me. But
no, exactly. And we only have like around 5-7 minutes. But I want to ask you a question. What was your sorry, I'm changing topic, but what's your biggest music experience you keep in your heart? Like something that was your biggest thing you've done. Not for everybody, but for you. You feel what was of your biggest goal and you did it in music.
Okay, one of the things, because it's a lot. I remember playing at the 2013 Grammy Awards.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? That performance, that really changed that was like my first time on that type of platform to that level. And I was able to shine because Jack, I performed with Jack White, and Jack had the two bands at the time. He had the Peacocks, the all-female band, and the all-guy band. And it was a lot of pressure because we were live. And when we rehearsed it, as soon as the girls stopped, the drums kicked off the next tune. So I had to be on point. But thank goodness I was on point, and that performance really highlighted, my showmanship as a drummer. I was seen by a lot of people, and I've gotten a lot of work. That's one of the biggest things that I've ever done. 2013 Grammy Awards with Jack White.
I'm sure it's online. I'm sure people can see that online.
Yeah, you can see the full quality, and it's on Vimeo. I think that's the name. It's not. Vimeo. I saw one on YouTube, but it's not of good quality. But the Vimeo, I may be pronouncing that wrong because there's like a Vimeo app for cash. But what is you know what it is the V, you know, the Vimeo. It's on there. You can check it out. And the song we're playing is Freedom at 21. I'm bad with names.
It doesn't matter.
So many titles in my head, but yeah.
No, how people can reach you is I think you're teaching, right? Or I think you were teaching. Is it possible? I do teach drum right now, or like online sometime, or no?
So not at the moment. You know, basically, like you. Oh, I'm doing a lot of clinics. That's what it is. I'm doing a lot of clinics. I had the opportunity to do the bag show.
Okay.
In Paris, that was amazing. Manu was a part of that building as well as Dennis Chambers.
Wow.
It was really cool. So yeah, I did the bag show, and I've been doing a lot of clinics. That's what I've been doing, you know, for the last months. I've done the Gear Fest at Sweetwater, which is huge.
Yeah, this is huge. It's crazy huge.
It was me, Keith Carlock, and Dennis, and you know, the same day, and everybody played my kit, which was bugged out. Dennis was like kept shaking his head like,
I don't know.
But he was funky. He got it. But Keith Carlock destroyed because Keith already played weird too. Keith have a similar angle, but he
something like that.
That's my boy, man. He's so funky, but he killed it. Yep.
He's a cool guy too. I met him a few times, and they're all good, man. Drumming community in general, people like 95% people are cool and genuine and nice with everybody, and they're good people, good spirit. That's what I like.
Yeah,
drumming.
It's a lot of little battles though, but you know, just like all other musicians, you have your battles. But I think as drummers, if we connect with you, that means something. So because it's a funny thing, but yeah, you're right. It's a community. Yep.
Community. Where the people can see your last, before we go, all your posts. Is it better to see your better posts on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube? Where's your main platform? Let's say.
I would say Instagram right now because you know, luckily, and I know this is a good and bad thing. We in the pandemic, but everybody's using this time to do whatever they're doing. I'm using this time to play catch up. I have a lot of content from like the last 6 to 8 months that because I've gotten busy. Like the last things I uploaded on YouTube and on my website was August, but I kept. But Instagram is so fast, you can just upload it right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing catch up on uploading my videos to YouTube and my website. So Instagram, you know, at Daru Jones, Instagram. And then you can go to my website. It's being updated. I put some up to date, you know, entries on some stuff that I've been doing, and that's Rusic Records. That's my label, RUSIC Records.com. And from there, you can get all my social links, Twitter, Facebook. Is all at Daru Jones. Yep.
Well, Amen. Thank you so much to accepting the invitation. It's not easy to start a project, and you said yes, and I was super happy. And now the project is just going bigger. Like in June, I was mentioning I have like Don Lombardi, Paul Bostaff, Jim Riley, Matt Alpern.
Oh wow, Jim Riley. Okay, that's what's up.
The lineup is coming to be big. The channel is crazy, and I really want to thank you. One day I would shake your hand and say, "Man, thank you for saying yes for that. I really appreciate."
Thanks for having me on the show, Eric. Much respect to what you're doing too, man. You got it going on too. Shout out to the Drumfields Cafe. You know what I'm saying? Wishing you guys many more blessings and keep growing and
stay safe.
Thank you. Yes,
buddy. See you soon. I'll keep you soon. Take care, man. Bye bye.
Thanks. All right, bye bye.